Hi friend, I've been playing around with my 6x6 papers today, and I have come up with 3 different envelopes. They're not new ingenious ideas, but they are fun, and yeah, stick around and we'll play together. Hi, it's Carrie from Creating Me Creative. Welcome to my cozy little corner. Well, today we have a beautiful sunny day, and it has been quite lovely in my craft room playing. It's not dreary, so I like that. I have a nice window right in front of me that I get to look out, and it inspires me. So today I have been making envelopes, and we've got the traditional envelope here, and we have a policy envelope, and this one is Camellia Crafts. Julie from Camellia Crafts did this one, and I just love it. It's 2 pieces, and you've got the envelope, the slot here, and then when you turn it over, you've got another pocket here. So we'll just play today. If you don't have 6x6 papers, you can cut your 12x12s down. You could cut a 6x6 out of regular copy paper, something that's been printed. Even just cardstock would work, a light cardstock though. And yeah, so this isn't a tutorial, it's more of a craft along. I will give you measurements as we go, but you know, I think most of us know how to make envelopes, but it's fun to do it together. So I have gathered paper that I know is going to work with this commissioned journal that I am doing, and I mentioned it on Thursday that it will be green and botanical, and originally I was going to add a little bit of pink. When I asked her if she wanted an accent color to the greens and neutrals, she said, surprise me. And I know her favorite color is purple. So I found this piece of scrapbook paper. Now this was a 12x12, so I did cut it down. I have a couple of them. So this is kind of the jumping off point for the colors of the journal. And then we will stick with the botanical theme. I've got these guys with the botanicals in it. This kind of looks and feels like ivy. We've got the neutrals. Of course, this one, which I did right here, has got the leaves and the flowers and stuff. So very botanical. So that's kind of what I've pulled. I found this kind of cool piece. It's got a texture to it. Not sure how I'll use that because it's pretty thick, but I've got all those. So let's start with this one. This is 2 pieces of 6x6. And all I've done is, because this was a one-sided, I've just used a stencil and my vintage photo to decorate the inside, and then just some stamps, and you can see some right here. I've also got this rubber stamp one, and so this one in here is kind of a mix of, I think it's these 2, and then this one here, and then I just added the little butterfly just to give it some decoration. Because I'm not sure where this is going to go in the journal, I haven't added anything else to it. I will do that as I put the journal together. And if you're interested to find out all of the papers that I've chosen, I'm going to kind of go through them and how I'm putting my signatures together on Thursday. So come back for that. But today we're going to work on this one. So let me grab a couple of pieces. I think I'm going to use that one because it's got the purple on the inside. So then I don't have to do this. And if we've got time, maybe I'll do 2, and then I can help or work with it. So Now I could go green, or I could go purple. I think I'm going to go green because I don't like those two purples together. Okay, so this is so simple. And Julie from Camellia Crafts, she just made it very simple. Of course, it's more simple if you have a craft tool. So you're going to take 2 sheets, and if you've got directional paper, you're going to want to decide whether you want, like this one's obviously, I could do it this way or this way. So I think I want my lines when I fold it to be this way. So I'm going to score it this way. And it's super simple. You're going to score each piece at 2.5 inches. Here's one. And this one I'm going to do the opposite way, so the lines are up and down at 2.5. And you are going to fold 1 and 2. And that is it. And the 2 pieces, you're going to take the one that you want on the bottom of your envelope, and you are going to put the short end at the front. And the one that you want for the top of your envelope, you're also going to have the short at the front. You are going to stick the long piece of the top behind the short piece of the bottom. Just like that. Isn't that super simple? Super simple. And then if you flip it over, you don't, like this one here, I pretty much push this right to the bottom. But you don't have to do that. You could actually make it a bigger envelope. As long as that front flap is covering, you could make it as big as that, which works out to be just shy of 5 inches. That's a good size envelope. Yeah. So now what I did next is cut notches in the piece that I want at the bottom. You're going to put a notch on both sides. You could use a circle punch, and I have one in 2 sizes here. I used my envelope punch because I prefer that shape. So I'm going to do that again, and you're just going to pop it in. And the nice thing is when you use the punch like this, you know that 3 inches is your halfway mark. So that's all you're going to do. And then flip it around and punch again. And that's it. Now, if you're going to do your circle punch, you can eyeball it. You can be precise and measure it and just come along here and, do a little tick mark and then center your punch. That's up to you. I don't know. I guess I have a little bit of a type A personality. I kind of like things to be a little bit matchy, a little bit even, a lot of it even. And then on the front flap, we are going to round the corners. And again, you don't need the tools. You could just simply use a set of scissors and just kind of go around it. And that's it. So, and I'm just going to burnish these up a little bit. And then a little bit of ink. Okay, the inking is done on this one. So now it's just simply gluing it together. And while I'm doing that, I want to say hello to Tina from Touch of Serenity and to Connie Bournewood. I think there's a dash and a number and a letter there too. But Connie, I think you're new here. And so welcome. And Tina, welcome back. And for anybody else that's just kind of, you know, sitting in the background, welcome back. And I'm glad you're here. I really enjoy doing this, and I'm glad that you're here with me. So, okay. So this one is super simple, and the piece that we did the notches in, we are just going to do a thin line of glue down both sides. Like that. And then remember our, I'm going to put it this way because this is the back of the envelope. So the long piece is going on the long side. And we just have to decide how far down we want it. I think this one I'm going to make a little bit bigger. And before I push that down, I just want to move this up and make sure it's going to cover. Yeah, we're going to be good. So we'll just make sure that's straight. Sorry, I moved out of camera. And we'll move this piece up. This piece here is the one that I cut from the 12 by 12, and it looks like it's just a smidge long on the edge, so I'm just going to give that a little trim. Let's see if I can see it better on this side. It's just like a smidge. Yeah, see that? Just a smidge. Okay, so that is the first one done. And I think I'm going to ink on the back side of this as well, where it bends. And then we can decorate. We can stamp again if we wanted to, or I've got this little dish of goodies that have the greens. This is really pretty. Actually, I like that a lot because it's got little tiny purple flowers on it. I might just do that. And then maybe add a word. That says treasure. I think that's going to have to go on something, though, just to give it a little bit of a pop. So let me dig through here, see if I think that's too big. Yeah, that's too big. And that's too small. Could use a piece of fabric. You know what? I have a piece of fabric. Let's do that. Find an edge that's not curling right now. Okay, so move that up there for a minute. And we will get, I think I'm just going to use glue stick. And I'm going to ink this first. So let me know in the comments below if you're going to join in on this little Saturday 6x6 venture using up scraps. I don't know whether we'll call it a scrap buster or a stash builder. I think it's both. I think we're using what we have and creating something that will be useful for new projects. And yeah. And if you're not working on, say, a journal at this moment, just pick neutral papers, and you don't even have to decorate them. Just, you know, do them just neutral and unfinished. And then when you do go to use them, you can decorate to match the project that you're working on at that time. Come on. I know you can rip. All right. We're just going to cut it then. I don't know how many of you have popped over from Kathy at Raven Vintage's channel. She had a shoebox stash thing that she did last year, just before Christmas, 15 different ideas. And if you haven't checked out that, you should. These envelopes would be perfect for that kind of a project. So building up your stash using what we have. And yeah, it's just, it was a fabulous series. And I do have my shoebox ready, so anything that I do make from here that I don't end up using in the journal will be building that stash box. So I'm gonna spread some of that out. That looked like a lot of glue. We're just gonna tuck that in the corner. And I'm gonna bring this down because I don't want the word to be buried. I want it to be seen, but I also don't want it to be covering up that flower. So I'm going to put it right there, but let's get some glue on that. Yeah, I like that. And then we can stick a little treasure right in that. All right, so that's that one done. I think the next one we will do is the policy envelope, and it only requires one 6x6. So I think this one we will do, let's see here. Maybe we'll do it in that brown because it's two-sided. Again, this was a 12x12. It was part of this paper pack, and so I've cut it down as well because it's going to go with the papers that I've chosen for the journal. Man, I have ink all over me. So yeah, and again, if you're interested, come back Thursday because I'm going to go through that with you. So this one here, we do need to make a few score marks. Non-directional paper is easy. If you have directional paper, you want to make sure, I will give you the score marks for this side and this side, so you can make sure that your pattern is going up and down this way. So we're going to do 1.5 inches. And we're going to do 4 1/4 inches. 4 1/4. Okay. And then we're going to turn it. And we are going to go 1/2 inch. And that's the bottom of our envelope. So make sure that your directional is going the right way, because that's the bottom now, 1/2 inch. And then for the top, we're going to go at 4 3/4. Like that. Now, let me grab a pen here because we do have to do a little bit of cutting. So we are going to cut off this, 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 and this. Now, when I cut off on the bottom, and it's not really going to matter which side I do, and technically, I'm going to go from this side. I know which way I'm going here, so I can mark that again, though, for you. this one, this one, this one, and this one. I like to go from this side because then I can see the bump rather than the dip. So we're going to come just inside the bump on the bottom. We're at the bottom one part. Just inside the bottom, slightly on an angle to the corner where this line and this line meet. And then we are going to come across this bump here. And I do not have my glasses on. They're on the top of my head. So I'm kind of going blind here. I'm going to put my glasses on, make sure I did that right. Okay, yeah. Now I just got to make sure that that meets right there. Okay, and we're going to do the same on this side. So slightly in on the angle to that corner, and then across the mountain. I'm close. Okay, and that's that one. Now, if you want these to match perfectly, just give it a soft fold and come up at the same time, and then your angle will be the same. All right, now to the top. Again, it's going to be the same thing, just not as far angled as this because we're going to round the corners on this. So just on the inside of the mountain is good on this one. Slightly angled to that point. Like that. And then outside, like this side of the mountain for here. There we go. And then on this side, just inside the mountain to the corner. And then this side of the mountain. Okay. And again, if you want to make sure those angles are perfect, I did actually a pretty good job there. Now, what I like to do here is I like to soft fold it so that those pieces do meet, like that. So those corners are meeting. And then I just come in from out here, just slightly on an angle, cutting both pieces to that corner. Just like that. Somehow I didn't get that quite straight. There we go. That's much better. And that way, when you fold it, it comes down into a point down here. And it's hard to see because the paper is the same color inside and out, but there you are. You can see it better on this one because I've inked it. Okay. And that is it. Up to you whether you, if you want your glue, like your meeting piece in the center, put the short side over the long side because one of them is slightly longer. And then we're going to fold it. And I'm going to trim the bottom here just a little bit straighter because for some reason I didn't. I was tipping it up towards me and then I lose the light because the window is right there. It's literally here. And so if I tip my paper this way, I get no light on my work. Just going to trim that up a bit too, just a little bit, just a tiny bit, just so that this will fold up. And we're going to fold this as well. And then we're going to round the corners. If I can find my corner rounder. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. And I'm going to go with the middle size. Trim that. There we go. And then we'll ink. Now I know it's brown and brown, but the core of the paper is white, and I don't like seeing that. Okay. Now let me clean up some stuff here. Get rid of all these little scraps. My poor scoreboard is a mess. It's got glue and ink all over it. I've had it for years though. And I cannot get that piece. There we go. Okay. So this one is simple. We are going to decide. I've decided that I'm going to put the short piece over the long. This one I did the opposite way, but I think I like it better this way. And so I haven't even inked this edge, but we're just going to put, here, let me do it this way. A line of glue. This is why I get glue on my scoreboard. A line of glue on that edge. And I have to bring it back over. And a line of glue on this edge. And that way we know that the whole thing is going to be glued. And make sure I don't have any extra. And make sure it doesn't glue itself down in here, or it won't work. And then we are going to bring glue across the bottom here, down the little edge, and across the top here. And that is it. This one is done. Super simple. Super simple. That is that. And you could, you know, do a policy string thing there if you wanted to. I didn't on this one, but you could. I'm going to leave this one undecorated. And I'll show you this one. And then maybe I will come back to this and we'll actually do one of those policy. You know what? Let's just do it now. Let's do a darker green. I think that will work. These circles are too big, so I just need a small circle. So you're going to want your small circle punch for this. And you need 4. One, two, three, 4. And I probably should have done this before closing it because I'm going to need to get in there. But I think we'll be okay. So I do 4 because it's just thin scrapbook paper. And those 6x6 pads, if you're using that, a lot of them, I mean, some of the better quality ones are like cardstock, but if you're getting the dollar store ones, cute patterns, super reasonable for price, but it is a lot thinner paper. Like this is from one of those, and I've just found it's so thin. All right, so we're just going to glue 2 pieces together, and then I'm going to put you on pause because I'm going to find a couple of brads for this. And we are going to ink the edges. So let me ink the edges and find some brads, and I will be right back. So I have this little foam mat, and I can poke things without wrecking my table. So I'm just going to put that kind of in the center of that line. So I have kind of a guideline of where the center will be. And there is one. And then we'll do the same with this one. Relatively centered. We're going to pop our brad through. Now the difficult part is going to be getting it in the right spot on here because I have closed it already. So we're going to want that there. I'm just going to slightly mark it. All right, get my fingers in from behind, and I'm going to push through there. It's not a deep envelope, so it's pretty, sorry, I'm doing this for my view, not yours. There. And now I have to kind of work those pieces apart without seeing it, so figure out which way they're going. All right, I'm going to take that back out and slightly pry it on this side, and then it will be a little easier on the inside. And I'll put my glasses back on because I can't see. All right, so there's 1, 2. All right, I got it. And you can't really do it unglued anyway because, well, you have to have both pieces together. So there we go. I'm going to just put a piece, I have a thick piece here of washi. I'm just going to run it over the glue stick just to make sure. And that way anything going in and out of the pocket won't catch on those prongs. So now I just have to go back in there and make sure I'm getting over top. Yeah, that's going to work well. I'll come back and take a boo at it in a minute, but you won't be able to see. Oh, yeah, you can. If I hold it in the right direction. See it in there? And that's just going to stop anything from catching on those prongs. And now, the top one, again, I'm going to pull those out. I'm going to put this where I want it. I'm just going to stick that there. And then lift this up and push through right into my thumb. And then we'll put the brad in. There we go. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm kind of glad I did. I like the look of that. Okay. And this one I don't mind if the brad shows. And then it's a matter of putting just a piece of string. And I just happen to have, oh, that might be too thick. Yep, it is too thick. So I think what I will use, I have this waxed Brazilian cord, and the green won't be right, but that brown is pretty darn good. So I am just going to, let's move up. All right, so we're going to, I think we're going to tie it on the top. So we're just going to come underneath that circle. You don't need a whole lot. you're going to give it a tie, pull it back tight. And because it's waxed, you only need one. And then you're going to wind it around, not a lot. Actually, I'm going to trim this off, get it out of the way first. So you're just going to come up underneath that little circle and trim. And that way you can't see it. And let's go up and around, and then down and up one more time and around. And then we'll just trim it down here. And that way you can wrap it there one more time, just like that. Done. Now, depending on how you're using this in a journal, you may just leave it like that. If you're going to use it and you just tuck it in pockets, we could decorate this side. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it as is. And again, when we put the journal together, then we will decide what we're doing that. So now we've got 2. Let me tidy this up a smidge, and we'll work on number 3. And this is probably the easiest of them all. And these are the envelopes. I love doing these envelopes. I like them in all sizes. And so this one, I just used the butterfly as a closure, and just decorated a bit. So this one takes 1 piece, and I think we will do, what will we do? I think we'll do just a solid green. So what you want to do is soft fold and pull out, pinch, and there's so many videos out there that show this, and some do it differently. Some can eyeball it, I can't. So now we have this X here, and you're going to pop one corner in to that X and fold. Do it from the other side. Meet it up and fold. As long as your paper is true to size, these sides should be right. I didn't check if it was true to size. And so then what I like to do is grab my ruler and bring it to the top of the triangles here, and bring this up so that the triangle meets it. Just like that. And fold. And then right where that V is, bring the ruler up to there. Hope my head's not in the camera. And bend this back. And then you're going to fold it the other way. And that piece is going to get glued down. And that's it. It's that easy. This piece here, you can just fold it right at that line. If you want it a little bit smaller, you can come down a bit. I like to bring it down a bit because if it's not perfectly square, you'll end up with some gap in here. So I bring it down maybe 1/8 of an inch, just a smidge. I think this one I brought down almost 1/4 of an inch. You can just see it where I've inked here. You've got that little piece. Now, if you were using your envelope punch board, if you have that, that piece is removed. You can do that with scissors if you wanted to, it doesn't bother me that it's there, so I don't. And that is that. It's that easy. And then, there it is. Just flatten all your edges. I like to round this corner point. There. And instead of putting music in it, like that's easy. I just used music sheet from one of my vintage hymnals on that one. This one here, I'm going to grab that stencil and just do it with that. And this could be any stencil. I'm just going to bring that to there. And you don't need to come down all the way, about halfway. I'm going to use my vintage photo, and I have one of these brushes I like to use. And I'm not concerned on whether it's even for ink. A little bit of movement is always nice. I just want to make sure the pattern is straight and centered. Just like that. Done. Super, super simple. Oh, don't close that. I'm going to ink edges, and I'll be back. So now we'll just glue it together. So we're going to glue this triangle down first. And then we are going to glue that triangle and up this edge. Glue this triangle. It's just where it was folded. And up this edge. And that's going to seal it all up nicely. I always like having the dry baby wipe. Just helps clean up the mess. Oozy glue. And for some reason, I forgot to do these lines. So you gotta go along that line too. And this one. There we go. There we are. And she's done. Oh, I'm going to ink that edge too. Now, these kinds of envelopes, this one specifically, I like to, let me see if I've got a journal here. I like to stick it on a corner. Get your stuff out of the way, Carrie. I like to stick it on a corner on two sides, and then use it as a tuck spot for a journal card or a piece of writing paper, and then it can flip up and you can still have something else tucked in there. I love using envelopes for that reason. Now, that's two of them. Where's the other guys? Policy envelopes, same thing. You could stick it on the edge of a page, just on two sides, and use it as a tuck. Or you could tuck it in a pocket. And then the first one that we made, because these are 6 inches wide, they won't be able to do that. You'd have to trim them. And you could certainly trim off, a bit, or, let it hang out as a tab. I wouldn't do that, but you could. The other thing you could do is just put it on the edge and use a tiny little paper clip. Just like that. And now it becomes a tuck here. And also on the other side, you could tuck something. Plus you've got that little space, if you strategically place your paper clip, that you can put in something here, maybe with a tab on it, and it now becomes a page tab as well. So that's just some ideas for you. If you wondered what you could use your envelopes for, I'm sure there's tons more ideas. I mean, if you have more ideas, please share them with us. We all can use a little inspiration and expand our creativity with the help of others. It's that's why we're here. That's why we gather together and do these things. I am missing an envelope. There it is. So that is what we have created today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you grabbed your 6x6s and joined in. And I look forward to coming up with another 6x6 project for next Saturday. Thursday again, we will be, I will be sharing with you just the gatherings that I've put together for this Botanical Bliss Journal. Yeah. And I will be taping ahead a lot. So if I miss saying hello to people in my that have commented, I'm going to apologize now for that, because I am actually headed away on vacation with my husband at the end of the month. We are going away for our anniversary, but I don't want to leave with no videos to watch. So I'm going to tape ahead of time. I'm going to film ahead of time and make sure that there is stuff still on the Thursdays at 5 and the Saturdays at 11. And that will keep you busy crafting along with me. Well, I'm sorry, I'll be in the sunny weather in the Caribbean. But yeah, I probably going to tidy this up, maybe make a few more envelopes, and then I will film immediately the gatherings for next Thursday's video. So again, if you comment on this one and I don't mention it in the next video, you'll know why. But I will get to your comments and respond for sure, and then we'll chat again soon. Thanks and take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.